already. Welcome, Adele, on time. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. It's just me tonight. This will be a shorter one. It's real hard to do a live stream without my buddy Sam here, keeping the conversation going. But it's been a while since we've done a live stream, and we really enjoy talking with you all and just chatting. And so I figured I could do a short one by myself. I turn the sound off. There we go. Just to kind of catch up with everybody, and also tell you kind of a cool story about what happened with our geese the other day. So just kind of connect. So Sam is still at the hospital. He hopefully should be done soon and on his way home. But they don't let us know when. Basically, we don't know when he's going in. Maybe like a week ahead of time. And this isn't for work. This isn't like a work schedule. This is for his practicum. They're just not. I don't know if it's not a good line of communication, or maybe this is just how schools do practicum, but we have no idea when he's going to be working, which really is kind of hard to make a schedule for anything. But he did end up going in today, and he should be getting done really any minute and heading home, but it takes about an hour and a half to get home, so he won't be home until probably 8:30 or 9 tonight. So hopefully he had a good day though, and I'm sorry that he is not here to join us, but I'm happy to talk to you all, so thanks for stopping by. So we have Aunt Holly is here. We are staying cool. It's actually not too horribly hot here today. It has been, and it's coming. It's going to be almost 100 tomorrow, I think, but we're doing okay. And Carrie is here from Carrie's Culinary Crafts. Thank you for joining us. Oh yeah, it is baseball season. I am not a big baseball fan, which is kind of, that's not something you say in the St. Louis area. Everybody watches baseball. I mean, I'll watch a game. I enjoy going to the game. We've taken some of the older kids to games before. You know, it's a fun family experience, but I'm not in love with baseball. I don't follow the scores or anything, but, and Tara is here. Thanks for joining us. So we want to talk about our predator problem a little bit. And also, before I start, I'm going to apologize if you hear a lot of background noise. The kids are in the next room watching a show, and for dinner I basically emptied out the fridge and filled up my oversized cookie sheet with all the leftovers I needed eaten, and they're just picking at it. I did not want to make dishes tonight to clean, and so they're just all sitting around the piano bench with this huge tray on it, picking at it, and that's their dinner. So if you hear them running around or you hear the background noise of their tablets, that's what it is. They're just on the other side of the wall. So J and B is here. Thanks for joining us. And Lois and Charlie and Judy. Awesome. Let's see. Oh, Carrie, your son plays plus coach. Yeah, so I know I have friends who have older kids who play t-ball or baseball. It's a huge time commitment in the summer, but I know the kids really enjoy it, and it's good for them getting some team playing experience and some learning how to be a coachable student. Those are all important things. So, and Grammy is here. Welcome. So anyway, our predator problem. So at first we thought it was a raccoon, which is what we talked about in our video. So welcome Beth from Illinois. Thanks for joining us. So our chickens, ducks, and geese have been in the same paddock for almost 2 years in the front of the house, and we really liked it there because it greatly decreased the amount of land that we had to mow, because they keep it mowed down for us. And also it was really right next to the house. It was really convenient to do chores. We have a dusk to dawn light that shines right on it, which we felt like kind of detracted predators from wanting to go in there because it was not dark ever. And being right up against the house, you know, there's always people coming in and out, and noise, which attracts predators. So we thought we had them in a really good spot. But while I was gone with the big girls, while Annie went to her camp, something decided it would dig under our Premier 1 fence, so they didn't get shocked. It was smart enough to figure that if you went under, you didn't get zapped by the fence. And then it also dug under the chicken coop and stole 2 chickens. So we thought maybe it was a raccoon, but some of you commented, and I know this is true, that raccoons don't technically usually take the birds. They like to pop their heads off. We've had that happen before. Pat's just running around in circles in there. Little boy needs to go to bed. They like to pop their heads off or pull some wings off, but they don't usually take the whole bird. And whatever this was taking the whole bird, both from under the coop and under the fence. It was not leaving any sign of the bird. So Sam moved the chickens. I was gone. He locked them back in the brooder, which is a really secure, aluminum hut he made that's basically impenetrable from anything. he locked them in there. And then we thought we were good for a while because the geese and the ducks hang out together, and the geese are pretty good guard animals, and they're relatively aggressive, and they're huge. So predators don't usually mess with them. Like raccoon's not going to mess with a goose because it's really big and it's mean. But about a week after the chickens, we lost the 2 chickens and we moved the rest of them, something got a duck, and then something came in and just disemboweled a goose. It left the goose in there, couldn't get it under the fence, but it tore it up. And so we think maybe it was a fox. We do have coyotes around here, but I know coyotes, I don't know if a coyote would dig under a fence, right? Because a coyote is a really good jumper, and the fence is only like 42 inches. Like I would think a coyote would just jump the fence. You guys tell me what you think about that. So we moved our ducks in with our chickens, and we were worried. Yeah, go ahead, buddy. Go get one. We were worried that the ducks would and the chickens wouldn't get along because they had only been in the same pen for like a week, and they weren't together. Like the chickens were locked in the coop and the ducks were just ranging in that pen because we were trying to get them used to each other. But we figured we were gonna lose them no matter what, so we might as well give it a shot to save those ducks, because you know we invested time and money in raising those ducks, and they lay eggs for us that we eat, so we wanted to keep them alive. And they did great, no problems. They've gotten along great. We've been locking them in the coop during the day, or during the night, overnight, in that really, that aluminum impenetrable coop. And during the day, they basically free range. We have a turbo wire electric fence around all of our pasture. It kind of like corrals them in-ish, but they can kind of go wherever. And they always come back to the coop and get locked up. That hasn't been a problem. The problem, if you've been watching, is that our geese had zero interest in leaving their old paddock. That is where they have always been, and they did not want to be moved. We tried corralling them in the coop to catch them. We tried using a broom to like shove them so that we could kind of catch them. Tried going out at night when they're a little bit easier to catch. Just couldn't catch them. So we took the fence down and figured, well, if there's no fence, we don't have to worry about corralling them through a little like crack in the fence to get them out. Like they can just step out. They wouldn't leave the perimeter. Like that fence was gone, but where the perimeter of where the fence had been, they would not leave it. Like that was their land, and nobody was going to shove them off of it. So we just kind of gave up. We felt really bad because you never want to leave an animal out there to just like meet its demise. But we figured at the very least, with the fence down, that any predator that came in and got them couldn't back them into the fence. They couldn't trap them that way. And so maybe they would have a better chance of surviving. We really didn't know what else to do. But then about 2 days ago, I went out to lock up the duck and chicken coop, and the geese were out in the backyard going towards the duck coop. So I think what had happened is they got a little lonely without their duck friends, but also they started hearing the ducks quacking and finally decided that they wanted to see where their buddies were. And they made their way, like we didn't do anything. The only thing we did, they wouldn't walk through the turbo wire fence. I wouldn't want to either, it's pretty hot. And so we turned the fence off and lowered it down in a corner, and they walked right in, went right into the coop, and we locked them up, and we've had zero issues. They haven't tried to attack the chickens or the ducks. Everybody sleeps in there. And in the mornings, you know, we let them all out, and they free range. They stay with the ducks in their own little herd. So it's kind of a crazy end. After all the effort we put into trying to get them to move, I guess it was just like a toddler. Sometimes they're just going to do it on their own time, and you can't make them do it when you want them to do it. So, what you need, babe? Okay. Let's see. I missed a whole bunch. Julia's here. Welcome. Pete from Soggy, Vermont. We could use some soggy here. Still really struggling with how hot and dry it is. Let's see. Greetings from Northwest Montana. Welcome. Bill and Celia are here. And True Joy is here. Thanks so much for joining us. So the good news is, what is left of our goose, duck, and chicken flock, which has been lowered in number by probably 4 or 5 at this point, now that we got everybody moved, is safe and secure, and they're happy. And it's actually working out pretty well. Surprisingly, we figured there'd be fights in the coop, but there aren't. And that coop is really, I mean, it doesn't have any windows or anything that anything can break into. It is just like a metal box. And so they should be really safe in there. And I don't know what we'll do in the spring when we get more chickens and ducks to kind of replenish the numbers, because we obviously would like more. That number, we have like 4 chickens and 2 ducks and 2 geese. That's not enough eggs. Like, we want more eggs than that, because that is our brooder. And so I don't know how we'll do that. We might have to build another brooder box or something that's real secure like that. But that's an issue for another day, right? We don't have to solve all those issues right now. So I'd love to hear from you guys, if anybody's having a really successful garden season out there, what's going well for you. It is just so dry here. I don't know that we've had a season this dry, and it's just so hot. Like, you water the garden in the morning and it feels like it evaporates by noon, and your plants are so thirsty because it's, 90 or 100 degrees and just dry, no humidity either. So it's been tricky. I've gotten good tomatoes, good peppers. My beets are okay. I got some lettuce and some spinach earlier in the season. My squash plants are still alive, but a lot of the other things I just had to dig it up, and we're gonna try again for a fall planting, and maybe weather will be more cooperative. So Pete says, unfortunately, we went from drought to extreme flooding. Our town has been okay, but many towns in Vermont have been trashed, almost bad or worse than Tropical Storm Irene. Wow. Flooding is it's destructive all the way around, and it takes a lot more than farmland away from people. It really destroys property too, so that's really sad. I'm glad that you were okay, but I'm sorry to hear that for your neighbors. Let's see, Tara, who built built a new raised bed garden this year, which is awesome. She has an awesome setup, is getting some tomatoes from it, so that's great. And J and B says, seems like the same work to feed 6 to 8 as it does, and hope you get your egg count up. Yeah, it is. And now that they're mostly free range, it actually saves us quite a bit in feed cost, because they have a lot more acreage to go. They can go wherever they want. And so the benefit of having moved them is that they need very little. Like, we feed them scraps, and we put a little bit of feed in overnight. We can't put the feed out during the day because the goats will steal it, and that's not what we want. They don't need to eat chicken food. So, but it cuts our costs down a lot. The bad part is you have a second chore. Like, you have to let them out in the morning, and you have to lock them up at night, and you really can't forget, because the doorway is huge. So something big can waltz right in there and take all the chickens in the middle of the night if you forget to lock your coop up. So it's one more thing to have to remember at the end of the day, which I don't really like. But at this time of super high inflation, it's nice not to be going through nearly as much feed. And especially if we want to add more birds, it's not going to increase our feed costs too terribly, because they can get a whole lot from free ranging. And the ducks really don't need anything. Ducks and geese are awesome foragers. They have plenty of space. If we just had ducks and geese, I probably wouldn't put any feed out at all. But the chickens usually need a little extra help, because they're not quite as smart as the ducks, or should I say quite as resourceful about their land as the ducks and geese. So JMB says that flooding the east seems kind of crazy. Yeah. And Pete says gardens are doing okay, but bugs are a real issue, especially cucumber beetles and potato beetles. Yeah, cucumber beetles isn't something we've really struggled with here. The squash bugs are the big, oh my gosh. I pulled 15 off my plant today. And I pull off bugs every morning and every night. And there were still 15 on there, and I just don't know where they come from. The neighbors must tell them to come over here or something. It is a full-time job pulling them off my plant. Jepco is here. Thanks for joining us. Julie says, glad the duck and chicken situation turned out okay in the end. It's so wet here that our garden isn't the greatest year. My container gardens are doing great. That's awesome. Container gardens, like our little bit of container gardens, struggled because it's so dry. But I've noticed if it's a really wet year, the container garden, like Julie says, does better than a different type of garden, like an in-the-ground garden, because the water evaporates a lot faster. There's a lot more surface area above the ground for the water to evaporate from. So that's why I like a mix, what I call a mixed pot garden. I don't put all my eggs in one basket. We have some raised beds, we have some container growing items, and we have some in the ground items. So I figure it'd be very rare, except maybe in Pete's situation, if you're flooding, that all 3 of those gardens would fail under the same circumstances, because they all flourish under different circumstances. Arkansas Prepper, thanks for joining us. Yeah, thumbs up if you have the time. I appreciate it. Let's see what else is going on. We are getting ready to do a big canning day tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, on Wednesday. You've seen my friend Adrian before. We like to can together. Ooh, that hair, Goobs. What you need, babe? Love you. So I think we're going to do some pickled beets and some regular beets and do some hot peppers because I go through the hot peppers like crazy here. I love adding them to things. So it's always good. I'm always adding to my pantry. I need more shelves. So there's another thing on Sam's list for when he's done from school. Figure out how to get more shelves in my pantry. Because, I mean, you got to store that food, right? He's saying hi?
Yes.
So if you're here, you got to stop your sound now, okay? So let's see. Tinker's wife is here from Oregon. Thanks for joining us. And Gabe and Kelly, we hatched Keats a few weeks. And you're welcome for fun if you want. We haven't had an issue with predators since we got our guineas last year. Well, thank you very much.
Mommy, where's the baby chicken?
If you want to send us a message, if you follow us on Facebook, we can
Mommy,
figure out. We figure that out. Thank you very much. Let's see.
Mommy.
So we did try. Oh, thank you. It's a duck egg. I didn't put it away from today. By the way, this has got to be the cleanest duck egg in 5 years of raising ducks I have ever collected. I mean, there's not a dirt, mud, poop spot on it. I don't know what made this duck do such a good job, but we can repeat that anytime. Because usually our duck eggs look like somebody went outside and tossed it in a big mud pit and rolled it around and put that in the fridge with the other eggs. So, what was I saying? What was I saying, Goobs? Chickens. We were talking about chickens. One year we did like 60 laying chickens and they were all free range and that was a little overkill, so we probably won't do that again. We thought maybe we'd like to sell the eggs, but they were free range and it's like we had some nesting boxes. We had plenty of nesting boxes, but they would not use them, and so it was kind of a massive job in trying to collect eggs, and then you had to test them because then you weren't sure how long those eggs had been there since they were playing hide and seek. So we probably won't do that again. Or if we ever did, we would do chickens maybe in tractors so that we keep a good eye on the eggs. All right, look, she says, hi, Goobs. That's you. Goobs with the crazy hair. Mommy's not good with the curls. They're just everywhere, Goobs. Let's see, Pete says we've had better luck with predators since keeping, that's fine, Mikey, since keeping roosters and drakes. We make a huge racket when a predator gets near so that we can interview. Had a fox that we were finally able to shoot. Yeah, I wish I was a better shot. I would try to shoot it. I'd probably hit something else. That was a Sam's thing, but he's not always home when it's going down. We have a drake and a hen left on the ducks, and then we have a male goose, which, is that also a drake? I'm not sure. We have a male goose and a female goose left. So we will probably look at getting more ducks and more geese because we don't want our boys to overwork the ladies there. But we don't have a rooster right now for our hens. So that'll be something else we look into too. We have Buff Orpingtons and they're supposed to be a broody breed, and we eventually hopefully want them to sit and hatch. So let's see, guineas are entertaining. We tried guineas, that's what I was talking about. We tried guineas, we had them locked away for like 2 months in their coop, and then we let them out, and they ran away. So, Gabe and Kelly Black says, and very loud. Yes, but they're supposed to be excellent, like, tick hunters. That's why we had got them, to try to keep the ticks kind of down, because everybody always has ticks around here. Pete says, shotgun is great for predators and you don't need a precise shot. Yeah. The Tinker's wife gander is a male goose. All right, good to know. And they are loud in gander. Okay, yes, and the geese are really loud. I still don't know. It must have been a big fox or a really stupid goose, but I mean, the geese are used to me, and they still hiss. They don't attack me, but they make it known that they would rather I not be there. So I can't imagine that they are not incredibly intimidating to something that they aren't used to, coming in the coop and trying to get them. So I still don't know how that goose got. It must have been a big fox or something really determined But again, smart enough to dig under the fence. And that hole under the fence wasn't huge. So I don't know. That's gonna be a mystery forever, Goobs. So
Yeah.
what do you think?
Good to go.
Good to go. I just wanted to come on and say hi. I know it's a short one. I've actually been working all day on the girls' homeschool stuff. They're supposed to start Wednesday. Yay, back to school. We do like 6 to 8 weeks of what I call like full-time school. At least 3 hours for the bigger girls, 3 hours of school. And then in the middle of September, when the weather's really nice and people actually want to play outside, we do half school, which is maybe only an hour a day for a few weeks. So we're still getting hours, but it makes more sense to me, instead of taking a summer off when they're all going to sit at home sweating their faces off and complaining about how it's too hot to go outside, to do school. And then we'll take a break in the fall when there's apple picking to do and it's cool and everyone wants to be outside. So J&B says maybe it was an AI predator. Maybe got robots coming and eating my chickens. Pete says, gotta head out and put the animals to bed. Speaking of predators, hope to see you all live again soon. Yes, and hopefully maybe next week Sam will be able to join us. So, and have a good week. You too, Pete. All right, I think we're gonna sign off because I gotta go finish getting school ready so that we can start on Wednesday.
Okay.
But I wanted to stop on real quick and just say hi to everybody. We've missed seeing you all live. I'm sure Sam wishes he could be here and say hi to you all too. Hopefully next week we'll be able to have him home. So, and yes, Isla is 3. She's 3 and a half. So she's all spunk and curls. So have a good night, you guys, and take care. We'll see you hopefully next week.